We're talking about children and books today. While preparing to read to children, careful consideration should be given to selecting books that are appropriate for children. Children younger than 3 enjoy physical closeness and visual changes and the illustrations, also the sound of the human voice reading the text. Children also enjoy rhythm and poetry as well as pictures that intrigue them. For young children, the sound of the language is more important than the meaning of the story. For children ages 4 and above, they're more concerned about content and the characterization of the characters and the plot in the story. In addition to what they previously looked at in the books, they also enjoy fantasy, realism, human emotion, and nonfiction. When we think about the history of children's literature, it's come a long way. Children's literature used to be, first of all, there were very few books, and the books that they had very few illustrations. As we progress, we've gone from black and white illustrations to colored illustrations, and many, many more books selection for children. Historically, children's literature was used to instruct children about how to improve morality and spiritual issues. There used to be a group of books called the Good Boy books. Boys were portrayed as being good if they dressed a certain way and sat by their mothers and did well in school and tended to their female members of their family. There were books written about them and about being good, and these were used to instruct children as to how they should behave. We don't see that now, obviously. Now the idea that children need and deserve entertainment and amusement is a relatively new development in children's literature. There are different awards, but there are 2 common awards for children's literature that you should know about. The first one is called the Caldecott Award. The Caldecott Award is an award for excellence in illustrations. So you see this primarily in very young children's books. The next award is called the Newbery Award, and that's given for excellence in literature and the content. You might see that in books for maybe 8-year-olds and above. Again, it's just children's literature, it's not adult literature. When you look for those books in the library, you will see a seal on the front cover. Usually it's gold or silver in color, probably about the size of a $50. And it says Caldecott or Newbery on it, and they're awarded every year. Those are books that your librarian will know about, and that they're books that are rich and should be your children should be exposed to them. Because children can gain so much from books, the teachers. I goofed there. Because children can gain so much from books, the teacher's idea of presenting them is very important. The primary goal in a read aloud event is the construction of meaning that develops the interactive process between child and adult and the development of the children's positive attitude towards the activity. Becoming this kind of teacher requires some work, and you'll have to view children as individuals and learners. So some of the things you might want to look at are his or her past experiences and what kind of follow-up activities should be planned and what kind of teacher questions should be used for guiding the discussions and probe the children's feelings and ideas. When choosing books for children, you should look at the following. Characters should be portrayed realistically. The story should unfold sequentially. The theme should relate to the children's needs. The story should establish a time and place. The story might involve a rhythm and repetition and should have a careful choice of words. There are all kinds of books that are out there. There's books that are afloat and they're made for bath time. There's soft books, huggable books, pocket-sized books, flip books, glow-in-the-dark books, sing-along story books, potty training books, and I could go on. One of the types of books that teachers use in their classroom is called a big book. And in a big book, it's exactly that. It's a very large book, probably about this big or even larger. And the teacher will use it for a whole group demonstration so that everyone can see the text and can see the pictures. The teacher might put them on the chalkboard ledge in order to manage it, or have an easel to hold it. It's really difficult to hold a big book and to read it at the same time. The enlarged text allows the groups of children to see it and react to the printed page, and also allows active participation and unison participation. The teacher can use her hand under each word while reading and can focus the attention on the print as it's read. Children also enjoy nonfiction books. Nonfiction books should be part of every class's library. Using nonfiction reference materials in the classroom allows children to see important reasons why people read. For some children, reading nonfiction reference materials may be an especially compelling reason to read. Reading nonfiction reference materials may have helped deepen concepts of print and genre knowledge. Reading nonfiction reference materials provides a forum for building computer literacy. And reading nonfiction for references provides another tool for developing comprehension and world knowledge. Some of the basic criteria for reading a book aloud. When considering reading aloud to young children, consider that their attention span and their maturity and their interests, along with their personality and the age group that you're targeting. When you read the book, read it enthusiastically and act like you're really enjoying the story. Ask yourself, are the contents of the book appropriate for the children with whom I work? Can the children relate some parts of their lives and their past experiences? Can the children identify with one or more of the characters? Does the book have directly quoted conversation, and does it connect to their interest? Will the child benefit from the attitudes and models found in the book? Who are the doers and who are the inactive observers? Are the characters' achievements based on their own initiatives, insights, or intelligence? Who performs the brave acts and the important deeds? Are value and worth connected to skin color and economic resources? Does language or setting ridicule or give some specific group of people or put them down? Does the book broaden the cross-cultural element in the multicultural selection of books offered at my school? Was a book written with an understanding of preschool age level characteristics? Is the author's style enjoyable? Does the story develop and have a satisfying climax of events? Are there humorous parts and silly names or silly words? Does the book have an educational value? Did the pictures explain and coordinate well with the text? When we think about the books in our library, one of the things that we need to look at is we need to expose our children to multicultural books. When selecting books about diversity and multiculturalism, look at the children in your class and try to represent the children in your class within the textbooks that are in your class. Books should include a range of characters, types of people found within the culture, and not necessarily are you going to find this in just one book. Illustrations should not consist of caricatures of the group's physical features, rather the illustrations to reflect the variety found among members of any group. Speech adopted by characters should have linguistic authenticity. Names of characters should reflect cultural traditions of the group. Food should not be used as a shorthand signifier of a group. For example, we wouldn't always have Asian people eat rice. The belief and value of characters as well as the worldview should reflect the diversity found in the groups and communities. Writers should understand pivotal family roles and family configurations. Members of groups should portray members as intelligent problem solvers. When choosing literature for children, to be aware that some parents are disagreeable with genres such as fairy tales or Disney books, and this is because they often portray women as helpless and dependent upon males for their success or dependent upon their beauty to be successful. Some additional tips for reading books. Check to make sure that all children can see the book. Watch for the combinations of children sitting side by side, the ones in particular that distract each other. Have a brief pause before starting the book so you know that children are focused on the book. Move distracted children closer to you and closer to the book. When an outside distraction occurs, make a statement such as if they heard a loud noise, say, "Oh, that was a loud noise," and then go on. Engage in discussion throughout the book. If a book is losing their attention, feel free to skip ahead. Plan reading sessions at relaxed times instead of rushed or hectic times of the day. Model how to handle books. Handle them gently and carefully. When a new word with multiple syllables appears, repeat emphasizing the syllables, and you might even clap out the syllables. Remember, it's not so much about what you are reading, but it's more about how you are reading. Lower or raise your voice, or quicken or slow your pace as appropriate to the text length, and use dramatic pauses, and let your listener think of the words and ideas. Introduce new vocabulary words. Read a book that a child brought to school. Support and accept children's ideas without correcting or challenging. Have unusual and fun words to say and be pronounced, and use them a few times for emphasis. Encourage children to talk about the illustrations. Encourage children to act out the action words, and discuss the feelings that the illustrations may arouse.